All right, folks, you're listening to Busker Broadcast, and I am Abby the Spoon Lady, and we have Billy Scribbles here, and Kevin Russ, he is here, and would y'all want to introduce yourselves?
Hello, I'm Phoenix Ortiz, and
I'm his sister, Cora Ortiz.
Oh, awesome. And how old are you, and how long you been busking?
Well, I'm 13, and I've been busking for about 2 years or 3 years.
We started when you were 10, but you were turning 11 that year.
Okay, yeah, that's cool. So about 3 years, yeah.
Yeah, and I just turned 16 last month, and I was 12 when we started busking.
Awesome. So, through busking, you feel like you've learned a lot of music?
Actually, yes, because when you had to play really difficult pieces, it took you a very long time. But through busking, you were able to learn very slow songs and like easy songs. That way you can play them a lot and play a lot of different shorter songs. That way you can actually like not just play like 2 songs that you took like 2 years to learn, and then that's it. You need like 10 songs to busk.
It makes you create a set list.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I see. Yeah. That works. So, what kind of music do you have in your set list?
Well, mostly we have a lot of classical because that's what we started out learning. We really like Beethoven. His stuff is just really dramatic and fast and fun to play a lot of the times. He has a lot of slow, dramatic ones too, and we've learned a couple. But we do a lot of that, and personally Chopin's my favorite just because he does a lot of, like, he's just pretty awesome. He'll have a really steady left hand, and then his right hand will just be all over the place, but like in a really cool, fun to learn way, you know. I've learned a couple ragtimes, but my hands aren't really big enough for a lot of them. Like Maple Leaf, that is just such a strain on my forearms. I just have tiny little hands. It doesn't work so well. But yeah, a lot of that, and then our own made-up compositions, which is what we started out learning. So we do a lot of that too as a fill-in for time. If we've gone through our list of playing and we don't have anything else to do, usually me and Phoenix will just sit down and just play something.
Just make something up?
Yeah.
A little bit of improv?
Mm-hmm.
That's good for you. It sharpens your skills and helps you learn.
Mm-hmm.
That's really awesome. Do you ever have folks wanting to sit in with you while you're busking?
Well, I think the piano's about the one instrument you just can't really do that with so
Nope.
well, you know? Nobody really looks at that and says, hey, you know, can I play, like, just a couple A chords while you're sort of doing whatever you're doing?
They got chopsticks.
Yeah. Right, well, yeah, but no one ever really does that. One time I was playing, and as I was just getting ready to take up the keyboard, some guy said, can I play? Just all by himself, and he sat down and he did a prelude, but that was about it. You know, and every now and then you have someone who, you know, just, I don't know why they'll, like, touch your keyboard while you're playing. It's a little odd,
it's
but just
really
one
rude.
key. They're not, like, trying to play with you. They'll just be like, hey, it works.
Yeah, like to think like if you're actually playing it or like faking
some
it.
people do ask, is he really playing that? And we're like,
And it's
well,
like-
yes, you know?
Yeah.
They wouldn't sit here and cheat you. That would be weird.
That would be
And
really weird.
Really dishonest.
Yeah, it would.
Yeah, but Billy's admitting it here. He when he comes out and plays banjo, he actually has a boombox strapped to his back.
Oh.
No, we're kidding, folks. We're kidding.
Just play through my phone, put my pocket, harmonica, yeah. Some Terry.
There we go. Well, you want to play one for us?
Sure.
Like
Yeah.
a composition or
Well, what do you feel like playing? I mean, do you have something that's your favorite, or what do you start with? Do you have a good old standby that you start with?
Well, I do have a few that I start with. Pretty much, Fearless is what I call my old reliable because everyone knows it. It's easy to play and you can keep it in shape real well. But I would really like to share one of my original compositions with whoever's listening because I made it not just for me but mainly for other people. I composed it a couple years ago when I run cross country, and the thing was I had spent that whole year really training like a lot more than I ever trained in my whole life, and I thought that would make me faster because I was doing track. But what it ended up doing was I overtrained and my legs were just shot. And so I was actually slower than I had ever been in my whole life, which did not make sense and was really frustrating. And so, you know, you're only 14, that's about the biggest problem in your life at the time. So, you know, I was pretty bummed out. And I had been working on this song that I thought sounded a bit like an ocean. And coming from Florida, you can't help but love the ocean. So that really just comforted me, and the more I played it, the more I developed the song, and the more it actually helped just everything I was going through, not just that, but you know, there's parts where you can tell I'm just wallowing a bit, you know, I'm like, okay, I'm bummed out. And then there are parts that I'm like, all right, now I've got to pick myself up and I've got to keep training because it's the only thing I can do. You know, you can't just stop because you're slow. You've got to keep running. And then, you know, in the end, you can tell at the end of the song it all works out all right. And, you know, running isn't the biggest deal in the world, but you can relate it to whatever you're going through, I think. I would like to hope that people can, because I made it to help anyone who needs help. So when I play it on the street, they don't know it about the song, but I hope that maybe they can feel that, you know, maybe they hear the song and it helps them somehow. I would like to hope that, because that's what I made it for, to help people. I called it Running Oceans.
Awesome.
Nice.
Thank you.
That's great.
Thank you.
Where is it that you get a lot of your inspiration for what you write?
Well, not just from any emotional situations I might be going through, or just what I'm feeling, but also mainly I get a lot of pictures and landscapes when I'm playing. Like this one reminded me of an ocean, and it also helped me through what I was going through at the time. And often, the landscapes might change as I'm playing, but I like to try and play stories because, that's pretty much what life is, just a story that hopefully goes well for you and everyone else. But when it doesn't, you need something to help you. And even when things are going greatly, it's wonderful to have music going greatly too. It's not just for when you're sad and when you're down. It lifts you higher than you ever could have been when you're happy. So mainly I just try and play a good story. That's what I feel is really important about music.
That's awesome.
Well, thank you.
That's really great. Do you well, I know you go busking in Hendersonville.
Mhm.
We were speaking of that whenever you first arrived today. What do you feel like the differences are between Asheville and Hendersonville, or do you prefer one to the other?
Well, Hendersonville is more of a low-key kind of place to busk, and Asheville is a more of an upbeat kind of place. Considering that Hendersonville is less crowded, obviously, and you'll see like a few buskers there maybe on a Saturday or Sunday, but like we have a friend who's a busker and he goes there like occasionally too. But considering the difference between Hendersonville and Asheville is a lot more upbeat, like I said before, and it's just a lot more fun.
Yeah.
Meet a lot of interesting people.
Well, that is the one thing. There are a lot of people that come downtown just to see the buskers. And I can
Yeah.
really understand that because there's just so many different kinds of music, and you can tell, this is really what they love to do, and they're sharing, their favorite activity. Also, in Asheville, though, people are so used to it, it's such a part of the city, which is such a wonderful thing, but, it's kind of like if you had ice cream every day. Ice cream is wonderful, and, you appreciate it, but if it's every day, people, they'll pass you and like, oh, it's just another busker. And that's inevitable, honestly. That's just life. But in Hendersonville, they're so not used to it, but they're getting used to it.
Mm-hmm.
So that perfect point where they appreciate you and, they really see, wow, they're playing music on the street so I can hear it, They look at it a different way, and, a lot of the people, they might not tip you, which really doesn't matter, but the point is, they'll stop and they'll listen, even if they have somewhere to be, they'll stop, they'll listen, and then maybe they'll jog off, But the people here, if they have somewhere to be, sometimes maybe they'll nod or they'll feel guilty they're not tipping you, and they'll just sort of like, shade their eyes and walk away real quick,
Yeah.
And you're like, I understand, man, I've been there too, but, in Hendersonville, it's smaller, and the people, they get to know you.
Mm-hmm.
Once you've been there on that corner a few times, they're like, I've seen you, hey, I'm glad you're back, It's a bit
There you go.
more close-knit, I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
And you're originally from...
St. Pete, Florida.
This city, it's smaller than Tampa, but it's still just a city, which I'm not too fond of. Honestly, Asheville's like as city as I get before I just don't enjoy it, And there really aren't other cities like Asheville. We're just in the Southwest, and we had to drive there, so we stopped everywhere along the way, and I just don't like cities, man. they're so full of just, I don't know.
Stuff.
Yeah, and you can
Yeah.
see there's, you don't necessarily see a crime going on, but you can just feel it. It's like this big oppressive air around there, and
Yeah.
it's just not anything I'm into.
Mm-hmm.
And so we left St. Pete 'cause it was just, we were boxed in. It was crowded. And also, there aren't really any different, like, it's not the kind of people here. You know,
No,
they don't,
they're all interesting. They're not interesting at all. Sorry. Yeah. Well, I mean, well, because, you know,
but
like,
they don't busk or anything.
they just go to their job, eat, go to sleep. Go to the job, eat, go to sleep.
Well,
They
everyone
just,
does that, but
no, but they don't
take
have
the
a
time
very.
to be too interesting about it sometimes.
Exactly.
You know, nobody's out there busking, and when we go back and visit our relatives there, everyone looks at my mother and her dreads like, what is that? It's
Yeah.
an alien, you know? And up here, people are like, I like your hair, man. So we fit in better here. There are a lot of
Yes.
nice people in St. Pete, but they're just not, like, the kind of people here. They're
Our crowd.
right. Well, you know,
There you go.
yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, y'all want to play another one? Or?
Sure,
Okay.
thanks, your
I'll
turn.
play a piece.
All right. What are you doing?
I
What are you doing?
I guess I'll play my own made-up song that I made when I made that 2 years ago or last year.
Oh, jeez. I think you made it a couple years ago now.
Did really Will's Return?
Well, it depends. It would be a couple years on your next birthday, I guess. I think technically you made it last year,
All right.
but you might have been younger.
Basically, this song is dedicated to like 2 books that I read. 1, the Rager's Apprentice series. 2, the Golden Compass. Because you know they're really really cool books, and they really remind me of it. And every time I think of that book, I'm like, ooh, I gotta play a song and something about it. And I always take a part of the book and put it in a song.
Yeah. You were thinking
that's a
of
really great way of
Yeah.
thinking about music. I think that's the first time I've heard that one. That's great.
yeah. He'd be reading it and he'd go, I need to make a song about it. So he thought of the 2 main characters in those books. Both of them happen to have a character named Will, and so he named it Will's Return.
Yep.
Yeah.
Awesome.
All right.
Perfect. So, do y'all mostly play music that y'all wrote?
That's
Actually, personally, for myself, no. I play a lot of classical music and like actually like learn it from actual music like in 1800s and stuff. But Cora really likes to compose a lot.
yeah.
Like, here, like
Well, I mean, Phoenix, you do compose too, but your song is just, they're like so gypsy, and they're, I guess maybe they take longer to compose, because my stuff is just gentler, and I think it, like, I don't know, comes to me easier, and your stuff just, it's just so tough. It's just all those octaves and stuff. Yeah, so you compose too, but you really think your stuff out, man. And I'll just sit there and play whatever comes and just improvise. If I mess up, I make it sound like I didn't, you know. And you sit there and you really plot it over like some mad scientist or something. You're like really making sure everything is just so. But I'm a little looser with that. I'll just play whatever sounds good to me at the time. So that's probably why.
Still sounds great, though.
Well, thank you.
Well, where do you go to school?
Oh, we're homeschooled.
Yeah.
Homeschooled?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, do your parents play music with you?
Nope.
Well, no, not really. What it is our dad, he can play guitar, but he never really took lessons.
He's a plucker.
So he'll sit there and he'll, just sort of pluck around a bit. But, he never, he can't read notes, never had much of an interest to. And so, he can play, but doesn't really much. I didn't get that, though. I don't really play strings very well. Believe me, I've tried, but it just doesn't come out well. I sit there and the strings don't like me. But we grew up with this upright piano in our house that we got from a yard sale. It was like 100 years old, and of course it hadn't been tuned since maybe when it was made. And some of the keys didn't work.
Keys were falling off.
Yeah, but Dad knew where middle C was. He had taken, in school, they make you take a music class, and he knew where that was, and with a permanent marker, he marked out the letters on the keys.
Because, we didn't know anything.
Yeah,
about piano.
we didn't take lessons or anything, and we've got pictures of me as like a really little toddler. I would climb up on the bench or stand, whatever I could do to reach the keys. I just took endless amusement from pressing something and getting a note out of it. And our piano didn't sound like any piano from anywhere else because it wasn't tuned. Mm-hmm. So we had that for years, and for years I didn't have piano lessons, and so I would sit down, I would play just whenever, when I was bored, when I wasn't feeling well, when I was feeling awesome. And so when I was 8, they said, I bet you'd like piano lessons. I said, that would be awesome, because I wanted to learn real compositions from other people, because I didn't know how to start with that.
The timelines.
Yeah, I'd learn all about the composers and everything. Yeah, and so after I had been taking piano lessons for a year, Phoenix did the classic little brother, well, anything you can do, I can do better. Because he played piano too, but he wanted lessons now. Mm-hmm. And so after that, we were pretty much pushing each other. I would do a song, and he would try his best to play something as complicated or maybe a little more. And then I would have to top that, and it just went back and forth until, we got to this point. And also we had a teacher who saw that in us, and she'd say, why don't you, go for a sonata this time? I know you've only been playing just the little primer books, but I think you can play a sonata now. And also Miss Vivian, our teacher, who I'm talking about, she really pushed us a lot. She would give us little songs to practice on, and then she'd give us this big monster piece that seemed just like we'd have to go pick through it line by line. Each week we're like, I've got one more line. And it would take forever to finish a song.
Yeah, like the first sonatina I learned, which was at 8, a year after taking piano lessons, was I think 5 pages or something.
Yeah.
It was really long compared to like Yankee Doodle.
Yeah.
And, like, Mary Had a Little Lamb, and so it took us forever.
Yes, there wasn't much of a bridge, it was pretty much, I remember one recital I was there and I pretty much played Yankee Doodle. And then 6 months later, I was there in the back row playing a sonatina, and everyone's like, what are you doing? I'm like, yeah. I've dedicated my life to this.
Yeah, exactly.
As an 8-year-old, I was 9 at that
You're
point.
9.
Yeah, I was 9 at that point, and I really loved doing that. And I still do. Yeah.
Until you turn your life over to music, you may not fully understand folks.
Yeah. Yeah.
And other folks, folks, if you're listening, perhaps you have something in your life that you hold as dear.
Yeah. Yeah.
Kevin over here with the photos.
Yeah.
Well, seems like you have some very, very supportive parents,
Oh yeah.
Yes.
and they seem to be extremely supportive in the music.
Yeah, definitely. Cause
And thank you, Miss Vivian.
oh yeah.
Yeah, Miss Vivian.
Yeah, and of course, not to forget our teacher up here too. Mary
Mary
Jo
Jo.
over at the Asheville School of Music, just right in town here.
Downtown.
Yeah, she's helped us a lot too.
Yes, a
But
lot.
of course, you never
Yeah.
forget your first teacher.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, but our parents, they really do support. They saw us playing piano like we were just without notes or anything. Like I bet they would really like lessons because Mother always wanted to play piano when she was little, but they didn't have a piano and they couldn't get one.
No.
So she always wanted to learn, and she knows how to do the notes now because she sits in on all our lessons. But I guess like me, I don't really do well with strings. I'd like to because all string instruments, they just sound so beautiful and they're so portable,
So
which
portable.
you want when you're playing piano. You wish you could tuck it in your pocket or sling it over your shoulder or something, but you can't. But with a string, yeah, spoons,
Spoons,
I bet that
exactly.
fits in your pocket, but I won't,
It's the bells I have trouble with.
yeah. Yeah, but there's no piano for your pocket. So, Mother really jumped in there and said, I didn't get to learn piano, but if they want to learn it, I'm going to make sure they learn it. And she has, and she's really helped us. And of course,
Of course,
pushed
us.
yeah, and everyone supports us. Our dad and our grandparents, they all just really appreciate our music and like that we like to play classical because that's what they like too.
'Cause it's-
Yeah,
I love classical a lot.
Mhm.
A lot.
yeah.
Well, y'all want to play another one?
Oh, okay. Do you want to do our duet, buddy?
Okay.
Yeah. We made up a duet one time. We didn't.
Last year.
Yeah, thereabouts.
Thereabouts.
We didn't really have a name for it at the time. It just sounded really adventure-y. And we were really stumped for a while. What do we call it? Something that sounds adventurous. Finally, we gave up and said, "How about the spirit of adventure?" So that's it. It starts out slow, but we get pretty carried away later on. Yeah.
It's really fun.
All right. Now we can switch off. That'll be tough.
Let's see.
Well, do you have a desire to check out other cities go busking?
Well, we actually just went out west
Yeah,
on a trip.
we tried that. Oh, sure, go ahead. Okay, I'm sorry.
And first we stopped at Memphis, and
That did not work out.
it was so loud. That was unfortunately when
Yeah.
B.B. King died. Exactly.
Yeah, maybe that was
exactly
why.
that morning.
Oh,
I
goodness.
think that's why, because they were blasting his music so loud
From every single bar.
Every bar,
Which
every
seemed to be all the
store.
stores. It seemed all bars,
It was,
you
it
know?
was all bars and diners. It was really.
Wow.
Yeah, I mean, I'd never been in a place that loud with that many songs playing at the same time.
We were on Beale Street.
Yeah, Beale Street, which is, I guess, the only place anyone would ever want to go in Memphis, you know?
Probably.
It was not our scene, and, you know, we'd heard, yeah, people busk in Beale Street, it's great. I don't know how anyone could be heard. You couldn't hear yourself talking. You'd have to, like,
You
Yeah.
had to be
yeah,
2 inches away from
I
the
don't know
person
how
you're talking
anyone
to.
did that anywhere. I mean, there was someone on a stage, but that was a stage, and it looked like part of a festival. So,
Yeah.
you know, every city obviously wasn't that. That was crazy. But other cities, the next stop was Oklahoma City, and they have a $50 permit you have to get to play there.
Oh, goodness.
You know, and
No
so
way.
we're like, I'm sorry, we're here for one night. We just can't really spend $50 to play there. And what does that tell you? If you have to spend $50 for a permit, probably no one does it, you know? So you'd be the only one there, and it wouldn't be like, oh, well, then they'll pay attention to you. No, they'll be like, why are you here? What are you doing? Why is your keyboard on the street, you know?
It's strange how attitudes change so dramatically city to city.
Yeah. Now, we had it we had the idea that we would, you know, as we went out west to places like the Grand Canyon, on the way we thought we'd play in different towns and things, and partly just because it was really cold, you know, up in that high altitude. It even snowed once, and it was like mid-May. You know, it was like almost June, it snowed, which was crazy. So it wasn't weather to busk, and it also just didn't really seem like something you could do in a lot of those places.
Well, in the beginning, we were actually saving up money by busking, so we
Yeah,
could go out west.
to go on the trip to busk.
To busk, but turns out
It was
we
just
can't
a
even
trip.
Busk, so
Yeah, which was awesome because
still awesome.
you still saw the Grand Canyon and everything. You just didn't busk like we thought we would.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, anytime you want to chat about good busking towns, I'm willing to. 'Cause
All right.
there are a few.
Yeah.
There are a few. Permits kind of keep folks, the good musicians, out.
Yeah.
You know, and a lot of cities don't realize while you're trying to keep the riffraff, quote unquote,
Yeah.
out, you're also keeping out some really, really awesome talent at the exact same time.
Yeah.
And so sometimes doing things like that to keep the riffraff out is actually counterproductive, and you're strangling your music scene, and it is very sad. So
Yeah.
cities, wake up. This is you, wake up. It's not cool.
Yeah. I mean, we live. Yeah, I'm sorry, I interrupted you. I didn't mean
No,
it.
no. all I was going to say is who would keep these sweet children from playing piano?
Well, thank you. Yeah. I was just gonna say that. I mean, you know, we live in Hendersonville, and because for a while there they had to say you had to get a permit. I think it was even a free permit. You just had to like go to the courthouse
Maybe like
and
$10 or something. It was really
right,
It was like,
right, and it seemed reasonable if you were passing law, like, yeah, this seems reasonable. You know, they'll get the permit, they'll play.
but it
Nobody
took, like,
played.
2 weeks.
You know, even the fact that you had to go there, there's something so discouraging about it. Nobody did it. You knew if you bust, it would be a little odd. We did it a few times, but it just, you know, I'm glad they changed that, and now you have these little boxes you can play in, and that's well.
You're still worn away.
Right.
Like
Well, you know,
so the ticket cops will be like, "You're not in the space." There is literally no space.
sometimes.
All been worn away. So
Yeah,
it's,
you
like, really
can't
annoying.
you can't always see with the boxes.
AJ took me on a walk down there. You
Yeah.
don't know AJ?
No.
Yes, we do.
Do we?
Yeah,
I'm
he's
not
got-
always great with names.
He's got a big voice. He's done
Yeah,
really
I
well.
know. He actually gave me his card.
Yeah,
Oh, that
yeah.
one, yeah.
He
I'm sorry.
He's
I'm not great with
sweet.
names.
He's very, very sweet.
Yeah, he is.
But he took me on a walk down there and showed me the boxes, and
Yeah.
you can hardly see where they are.
Yeah.
If there's any debris on the ground, you can't see them at all.
Yeah.
So, Yeah, hopefully they'll get somebody out there to redot them for it.
Yeah.
Enhance the saturation. Like, oh, I think this is the spot right here. That could work.
Yeah.
Pretty much. Well, I think we got time for a couple more if y'all feel like
Okay.
it.
All right, you want to play Cora? Or do you want me to play?
All right. Shoot. Okay, but we'll take turns.
Yep.
All right.
Well, obviously,
Yes.
you can take turns.
I know. All right.
Yeah, we'll make sure we got time for each of you a little more at least.
No, that's perfect.
Okay, well, let's see. I guess I'll play, debating between two songs here. Let's see. I guess I'll do, the, pretty much one of the first songs that I, composed and remembered, because a lot of my songs before that I would just play and then be like, what did I do? I think it was in C. I can't remember. But this one I kept track of and I memorized it when I was 11. So I've been keeping that up for a while. Named it A Life Remembered because that's what it seemed like I was playing. And, I'm playing this mainly for my piano teacher back down in Florida.
Mm-hmm.
She's, her mother just passed. So,
Yeah.
this might help her. Or just help anyone.
Mm-hmm.
I'd like to just share that with people. I'm sorry. Technical difficulty.
I guess I'll play Funeral March.
Whoa.
Okay. Yeah.
You sure? Not Magician's Secret. I mean, either one, man. It's your choice.
I'm gonna play Funeral March.
Okay.
I like him.
All right.
Alright. Chopin's awesome.
Yes, Chopin rocks.
got my magician's secret.
Yeah, that was heavy.
Well, we have 10 minutes left. So if y'all feel
alright.
like you could play a couple songs in that 10 minutes, we can do that. Or
Uh,
if there's something you want to talk about, we can do that. It's up to
all right,
y'all.
all right. Well,
You don't want to talk about the, permits and stuff?
I think we covered that. I could play for 10 minutes, buddy.
For 10, okay.
I can. I think so. I think I can. If I end up 5 minutes short, we can talk.
Sounds great.
All right.
All right.
What are you wanting to play?
Well, I have a few other made-up songs, but we just have so many songs we play. I mean, you play for years and you love every song you play. You don't end up dropping a lot of them, And then you turn around and you're like, oh, I've got 10 songs I have to keep up with, and plus everything I make up, and you have to drop them even though you really love them. And so, even when you drop stuff, you still have so much stuff to keep up with. Between me and Phoenix, it's like
100 pages of memorized music.
pretty much, and that gets, kind of rough sometimes around the edges.
Yeah.
You'll turn around and you're like, I thought I had that song in better shape. So I could play a few of my made up songs that I actually, have composed and memorized, but
Play a classical. Play a classical.
but yeah, they're not quite absolutely something I'm comfortable playing over the radio. As I don't know, something about being on the radio just fries my brain a bit.
Yep. Same with me.
So I'll just make up something, I guess. I hope that goes fairly well.
Are you sure?
Yes, I would like to.
Okay.
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 I think I'll do that better than Chopin, which is like precision surgery.
I know, exactly.
I think I would do my own stuff better.
All right, wing it.
I think so.
Here we go.
All right.
sweet.
Thank you.
Is there anything that you'd like to say to other buskers?
Well, mainly that, they should just stay out there and keep doing what they're doing, because sharing music is really an important thing. One time, me and Phoenix were outside of Malaprop's, the bookstore, just after a piano lesson, and this really nice older lady came, and she was just so happy. She said, do you know Claire de Lune? And Phoenix is playing at the time. He's like, no, I don't, but my sister does. And so she's like, I'm going in the store, and when I come back, would you please play that for me? And I said I would. And so sure enough, she comes back, and she says, before you play, I have a story to tell you. And she does, and what it is that her mother had recently passed away of cancer. And on the day she died, this wonderful woman and her sister played her Claire de Lune. And so she said it would mean the world to her if I played that to her today.
And it was her favorite song.
Yeah. So I did, and I really put everything I could into it. I played as well as pretty much I think I might have ever played it. And she cried, and I almost cried, and she's just the nicest lady. She gave us both a hug. She kissed us on the top of our heads, and she said that we had really given her something special. And I really felt that I had made a difference. And people don't always tell you those stories. They don't always say, this song means everything to me. But it does, whether you know it or not. And you're out there and you're making that difference. Whether you know or whether it made a difference that day or not, it will sometime. And you might not ever know about it, but it helped that person just in some way. And that is really important, I believe.
That's
Also
really well
agree.
said.
Very much so.
Awesome. So, when's the next time y'all plan on going out busking?
Well, we're in Hendersonville, so it's a bit of a drive for us. Mainly we always have the time to come out here to Asheville, but in Hendersonville, maybe on Saturday if we can't drive, we're too young for that. So it's not like,
Yeah.
I would like to busk. I will hop in my car and drive. I have to get my parents to. And,
Yeah.
like all parents, they're busy. So
Yeah.
they, of course, are accommodating, but, we don't always have the schedule for it. So maybe next week, something like that, whenever we can.
It really depends on the weather, too. Because if
Yeah,
it's too
you know.
cold or if it's like,
Well, it won't be too cold
thundering.
this time of
Well,
year.
yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but
some
there
of
are
that.
those thunderstorms got to deal with.
Yeah, and a lot of
Yeah.
rain pockets and everyone's just like flushed out.
Yeah, you don't always know. It pops up real quick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Luckily, here it seems to go away real quick too.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Most of the
Will last
time.
all weekend.
Yeah.
We do live in a rainforest, though.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Folks, you're listening to Busker Broadcast. We got Cora and Phoenix here. Do y'all have a name for what you're doing?
Well, we've been debating that.
A lot.
Up here, they make you name your homeschool like it's a real building or something.
yeah.
So we call our school Full Spirit School,
There
and
you
so we think that's pretty much our band name. We couldn't think of anything that really said what we do better than that.
Yeah.
Because that's what we put into our music, and we like to think that's what people get out of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's perfect.
Well, thank you.
That's really perfect. All right, folks, you're listening to Busker Broadcast. I'm Abby the Spoon Lady. We got Cora and Phoenix here. Kevin Russ is with us. Billy Scribbles is with us. And we've been hanging out and talking about music and composing music and being outside to share such composed music. And the importance for this to be a continuing tradition in America and in this area.
Mm-hmm.
So, folks, don't squeeze out your musical traditions by permitting them.
Yeah.
Thank you. Please and thank you. And in the meantime, check us out on Facebook. Check us out on WPVMFM.org. Check us out on SpoonLadyMusic.com and walk around and hang out with your street performers and have a really awesome supper. All right, yeah, hold on, wait.